Nick Saban's still got a year or two left on his contract. My guess is we'll see him again back here in the playoff if we just stay with this thing long enough. And now, on a Monday night, we bring in the man who brings college football to your homes every Saturday morning with College Game Day. Reece Davis. And Reece, RD, I feel like this game encompassed the entire season perfectly. There were two teams that were better than everybody else, and it took deep into the fourth quarter to decide who it was, and the best team won. How did you see it?
I saw it exactly the same way, John. These two teams were cut above everybody else all season, and you heard Nick Saban talk about his team not finishing the way it wanted to, but Georgia did, and that's been the thing in the 4 meetings since Kirby Smart took over at Georgia against Nick Saban the previous 4. They've been outscored in the fourth quarter by 37 points. Tonight, they outscored Alabama 20-9. When something went wrong, they answered rather than crumble, which they have done in the past. And it was really, it was a cathartic experience, I think, for everyone on that Georgia sideline, because as much this week as they tried to tamp down the idea of Alabama being in their heads, it was real. And they had to deal with it. And deal with it they did by making clutch plays. Stetson Bennett was tremendous after the controversial turnover that led to Alabama taking the lead. And to see what he was able to do this year and to lead his team to a national championship is one of the great stories in the history of this sport.
I was saying, let's touch on that, because early in the game, I couldn't decide if the OC Monken thought his quarterback was terrible, because in the fourth quarter he thought he had Aaron Rodgers. And he really, after the mistake, right, he turned him loose, and it made all the difference. And as I mentioned, you bring us every Saturday, we have stories like this. There are more guys in college football like Stetson Bennett than there are like Bryce Young, I mean, just to the population of it. Beyond that, why is it that that story is so great, not just tonight, but start to finish with Stetson Bennett?
Because he was resilient. This is a team, John, and you know this being a lifelong college football fan, this was his team. This is who he wanted to play for. And they didn't really believe in him for a long time. He left, and as Kirk Herbstreit talked about earlier, thought maybe he wouldn't come back. And even this year, they told him he wouldn't play. Constant calls to replace him for JT Daniels. And I remember being asked earlier this year by someone when we were in Athens for College Game Day, do you really think that Georgia can win a national championship, win the games required, particularly beat Alabama with Stetson Bennett at quarterback? And I answered, yes, they can. He's their best quarterback. He may not be the prototypical NFL franchise-type quarterback. He may not even have a future in the NFL. But he's the best quarterback at Georgia, and he has been all season, and he certainly proved that tonight.